Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke. I'm Chris, and as always, I have...
I'm Will.
So, we got a bit of a story for you guys, because we have to start with this. So,
Of course.
we've had a bit of an accidental look into the future. First, Will, go ahead and show off. Will did some off-screen grinding that he's going to put up. Got most of our Pokemon up to a higher level, so that we are better prepared for the challenges to come. However, that isn't what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is that we accidentally had an hour and a half of a failed recording. We have audio, but no video recording. I'm not gonna point fingers, at least on your screen. Will's beating himself up about it internally, but it's fine. It happens. We were able to salvage it. We're back to where we were, so you have missed nothing of the playthrough other than we have a bit of foreknowledge of what happened to us and our Pokemon. Nobody died. We almost had a lot of casualties. We did fail a route in that, but here we are. We've reset. Everything is consistent. This is where we last left off with you guys, aside from that grinding.
And speaking of that grinding, might as well show off what we got here.
Yeah.
Peanut now knows Bite.
Bite. Scratch, Harden, Leech Life, not Leech Life.
Headbutt for Ziggy. That's been a big one. Does a lot of damage. Basically made Ziggy a powerhouse, even though Ziggy still has some of the lowest attack on the team.
Stab, same type attack bonus.
Dustox has learned Gust.
And Confusion.
Confusion it learned at level 10.
I can't remember.
It did have it.
It's been a long while, because we failed our last recording.
Swift now has Wing Attack. Bide.
Yeah.
For Kipper.
You added in Bide for some reason. But it's fine.
Yep. And then we also have Calvin.
The Meryl in the box.
Which, by the way, because of how difficult it was to train Calvin up, Calvin really didn't learn too many more things. Yeah. It's only at level 10 compared to everyone else.
Calvin is still a backup.
Yep.
Alright, let's go to the gym.
Alright, for the gym...
It's rock, so...
Yes. Rock is technically weak against ground, but they'll have nothing.
We have no ground moves. It's
so
Kipper.
Our best option is Kipper, followed up by Schnapple. You do remember why Schnapple's a good choice, right?
Schnapple's a good choice for the next gym.
But the reason Schnapple's a good choice for this gym is because rock types have generally low defense.
You mean low special defense?
That's it. Low special defense. High defense, high attack, but very low special defense. So Confusion...
The main issue with Schnapple is that,
I believe bug types are weak against rock.
Bug types are weak against rock, yes, so...
Now, we do have the choice of trying to level up Calvin a bit, because Calvin can basically one-shot the whole gym with Water Gun.
Yeah, but so can Kipper. And I think Kipper is going to be just fine.
Kipper will level up from this fight.
And then he'll resist rock even more, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think ground resists
yes.
rock.
Ground is super effective against rock types.
I know, but I don't know if ground resists rock. Because what you're super effective against is not always your resistance.
Right. Like poison. We will learn later.
Yeah, going to just that brief look into the future helped teach us one of our best options against the upcoming fighting gym. After we almost lost a lot of Pokemon and wasted a lot of items in that also famous Nuzlocke healing Super Soaker.
Maybe I should have gone in a double battle for that.
Oh, I wanted to make a bad joke.
Do it!
Well...
What kind of bad joke?
I'm going... It's a music joke. Just... This whole gym, it's just... Roxanne! I'm going to send you a picture. You have to include in the edit.
Oh boy.
That'll help
Alright.
make the joke even better. But so also something we discussed in that failed recording, but so that we have continuous continuity here, is we were going over our favorite Pokemon of every type.
Mm-hmm.
And we realized that when I looked at my list, I had missed discussing water in the list, the order it was in. So your favorite water type that you said is not Kipper evolving.
Yeah, we gotta first of all just wait for Kipper to evolve here. Because this is a momentous occasion. The starter type is evolving. This is our...
I'm just so used to evolving it before the first gym in this gen, because I usually start with Torchic.
Mm-hmm. Yay, and a new move. Let's get rid of that bide.
Because we like keeping Mud Slap for...
That accuracy.
Yeah.
Water types. You see, there are a few Pokemon in the whole Pokemon that I believe you are not a trainer until you've used one. But for some reason, almost whenever I play a Pokemon game, in my team, you will find a Gyarados.
Okay, so yeah, that's his favorite water type. Whereas...
Sea Snake.
I like a lot of water types.
Water type is the most plentiful of all the types.
Yeah, especially in some of my favorite gens. And especially in the early gens when you basically always needed one. Because you always needed something to surf.
Mm-hmm.
So, my favorite that I use... I've used it like once. But I really like it. Was Milotic. And it's just, I've been so happy whenever things either make it easier to evolve a Feebas and or easier to find.
Yes. I completely agree with you.
I think you've told that story on
Yes, I told this story with, I think, the, it was the challenging video.
Yeah,
With our greatest challenges and...
You thought you had to beat all the beauty contests with it to get it to evolve.
Ugh! Milotic is such a cool Pokemon, but it was just so stupid to try and evolve in the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald games.
But yeah, so then we have our favorite electric types. The type where its only weakness is ground, and ground is immune to it. You know what I think was one of my favorite things that a gym did?
What?
That was an electric gym?
Which one?
Gen 5.
Gen 5. That would have been,
Alessa.
Unova, Alessa. Ooh, it's been a while since I played those.
Where she had the Enolgas, which were electric flying.
Yep.
And thus, you couldn't just go in with a ground Pokemon, because flying is immune to ground. I really liked that. Like, yeah, it changed their weakness. Like, they still had a weakness. There's only one electric type without a weakness because of Levitate. And even then, if you can get rid of its ability. But it was an interesting challenge, because most people are like, oh, it's an electric gym. I'll just find a ground move. And that wasn't what you could do.
You had to use a rock move.
But my favorite electric type is Jolteon. Whereas Will, you really liked...
I like Galvantula. Which, for me, I find it as something kind of strange. I just have always enjoyed Galvantula. I like the idea of the Galvantula being an electric spider. Plus, they gave it its own specialized
Potion.
move called Electro Web.
Yeah.
Which I guess Pikachu has now learned in the animation.
That's
weird.
disturbing.
Yes, it's weird.
But yeah. Kipper's now level 17. Nose Pass.
Easy.
The third shiny I've ever caught. Was a Nose Pass. Got it at the same time as I got a Pokemon with Pokerus.
So lucky.
Very much so. I've caught 3 natural shinies. Not counting Red Gyarados or event shinies.
Right.
Caught a Machoke in Diamond. Caught a Sentret as like the first or second Pokemon I ever encountered in Heart Gold was a shiny Sentret that I evolved into a shiny Furret that I have since traded. And then a shiny Nosepass in X and Y, which I have evolved into a Probopass. But on the topic of favorite types still, Psychic type.
Psychic. Alright.
The most overpowered type in Gen 1.
Oh yes, very much so. All because of the special.
Well, special being one stat, and there was no good counter to it.
Mm-hmm. Other than more Psychic. The only type that really was effective against the Psychic type was Bug type.
Which there weren't many moves for.
No, there was only one.
Yeah.
There was only one Bug type move that dealt damage.
I still
Do you know what it was?
I can't remember.
Leech Life.
Yeah.
Leech Life was the first Bug type move.
I remember going back and looking at some of the moves, and it's just like, it's like a punch or a kick move, and it's like, why is this normal and not fighting? When you, like, when I was playing, like, the Virtual Console Gen 1 games.
Yeah.
And then there were no there were no damaging ghost moves that could be super effective, because the only damaging ghost move was Nightshade, which always does damage equal to your level.
Mm-hmm. And even then, the ghost types who could use it were half poison type.
Half poison, which meant they were weak to psychic.
Yep.
But your favorite psychic type?
Well, I believe you didn't really approve because it's a legendary type.
Technically, I think it's a mythical.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a difference between legendary and mythical?
Mythical, you can only get through events. Legendary, you can get in the game.
Right. Okay, which is Victini.
Yeah.
And the reason I
We'll
love
call
it...
that your one per list.
The reason I love that one so much is because its ability. It's one of the only Pokemon abilities that doesn't affect just itself.
Victini is a good one. I do like Victini. Okay, so this cave. In our look into the future, we failed this cave. But I kind of want to Whismer. So let's try not to fail this cave this time. Do we want to move something else up front that isn't going to just kill it? Ooh, Ziggy has an item.
We will take that first. I think
Antidote.
I asked you if we should grab Calvin to do this.
And I said no.
You said no. However,
we hit it with a move that did less than half. But because how Pokemon damage moves work, it kind of does like a roll. We rolled low and then rolled high.
alright. Based on attack, I think we should send Ziggy out.
But the issue is that all of Ziggy's moves have stab, so its attack is a bit deceptive.
Okay, so I really think we should go get Calvin if we want to try and catch a Whismer.
We could use Peanut. Peanut with just a basic tackle.
Well,
I don't think it'll one-shot it.
How does Zigzag... But Zigzagoon also has tackle.
But Zigzagoon's tackle is stab.
How?
Normal type,
Oh.
same type attack bonus.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Either we go get Calvin or we use Peanut. I will leave the decision up to you.
Because Calvin will have less attack.
It will, yes, I know. And we saw how Calvin doesn't like to deal damage.
In
It's
fact,
also a lower level.
Let's check. Because I know...
Can we check using the Pokedex?
Well, no. The thing I'm checking is that I know Meryl in later versions was a water fairy type. However...
It's not water normal.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to check.
You can't check that in this Pokedex.
Darn, that's dumb.
It was not water normal. It is just water at this point. The one that was normal was, we haven't taught a thing cut yet, but we don't want to go through there. Honestly, I'd say save that for... Hey, look, it's the thing we're hoping to catch.
Mm-hmm.
But we
Can't
already
catch
caught
it out here.
Yep, we already caught Nincada out here. Our double.
Which, by the way, since no one really knows this, because I said it in the lost recording, Nincada is probably our most defensive Pokemon we have on the team right now. Has the highest defense, even above Kippers.
But yeah.
And is
aside
at a lower
from
level.
getting sidetracked there, my favorite Psychic is Gardevoir.
Okay.
Used to be, it had a lot of different competition, but finally using one in X and Y, when Fairy type was added, kind of solidified it as it's like, I like this, it's different enough. I don't know if it was in the Lost recording I told the Alakazam story.
No,
or
that was before. That was before.
But yeah. Like, nowadays, it would be one of those where my brother would probably use that, and I'd use, we don't need Swift for a bit.
And Swift will level up pretty quickly.
Swift can take a break. He deserved it. But next is Ice.
Ice types.
Ice types? I like Ice. I like the Ice type. It is bad. Like, it just has a lot of things that do not work out as well for it. It's more common to see as like a coverage move on like a water type.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of them could learn like Ice Beam or something. They're almost always something you encounter late game too.
Yeah.
Like, I like the things where they found ways for you to encounter ice early on. And here we go. Zubat now. Whismer.
I think this is even a level up higher than what we tried before.
Okay.
Yep, see? Such a better option. Plus, low damage. Plus, I think even if we do a defense curl, that'll make it even better.
I think... Oh, wait, no. Still before physical special split, so Uproar is physical.
Exactly.
But it will keep getting stronger. Okay.
There's catch status. Uproar doesn't increase as the rounds go on. That's rollout.
I thought Uproar did as well. But...
No. It's just you can't stop Uproar. Come on. Yes!
Whismer.
Nice, strong, normal type.
Which gives us a thing we have to think about. We have to nickname it.
Yep.
You know, I'm only thinking about this because I just had to send a message to him. But you know what we named this?
PG.
Brandon.
Oh. We both had different thoughts. Because, you see, I thought it would be more of a KG.
I mean, yeah, but...
Especially when it becomes Explode.
We may not use KG.
We have to bring the logic onto the team.
The Brandon logic.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Brandon has his own form of logicking his way through things. But yeah, the Ice type. Did you say your favorite yet?
No, I have not yet. My favorite has to do with an idea I'd been going through when I was in the 4th gen Sinnoh. Do you remember the story?
I think so, but
I
go ahead and
created
tell.
a team that could count, or that had super effectiveness against all types. My team was Torterra for grass and ground, Blaziken for fire and fighting, Pelipper for water and air, and Weavile for ice and dark. And that those four at that time could do type advantage against all the different types.
Yeah, so Weavile. We might want to switch something to the front.
Yep.
Maybe double?
Yes, because
Bug on
they
dark.
will have a Poochyena.
Oh yeah, my favorite ice used to be a lot of different stuff, but currently, because of my trials and tribulations with it after I hunted down one with its hidden ability, is Alolan Ninetales. Ice received a lot of benefits from Sun and Moon, even though you still could only catch them super late. I think that was also the gen that buffed a Leech Life. It's now a pretty good move.
Right.
And now, the favorite type of our friend Matt, Dragon.
I'm easily going with my second favorite Pokemon, Flygon.
Flygon's a very good one and very popular. It was the first Dragon Ground. Thank you, Garchomp.
Sorry, Garchomp.
Dragon Ground was a good typing.
Mm-hmm.
Though it does have a 4 times weakness to ice.
Yep.
Whereas a lot of my favorite dragons are legendaries. But considering I'm saving my I don't like picking the legendaries for favorites overly. And since Will had one mythical, I'll probably use one and save it because I know which one it is. I'm going to say Hydreigon.
Right. Okay. Wasn't that supposed to be the pseudo-legendary?
I don't know for Unova.
It was. I think it was. I don't think it was Haxorus. Haxorus had a different level progression. I think it was Hydreigon that was the pseudo-legendary
I think so.
of that gen.
Now we have the Dark type, the type that was literally added to counter Psychic.
Oh, Dark type, right. For me, that's Umbreon. My third favorite Pokemon.
Umbreon is an insanely good Pokemon, and for the longest time, I never realized that it was built to be defensive. I never realized that.
I figured it
I was
out.
not the smartest kid. I had a level 50 Umbreon that knew Hyper Beam.
Okay, so in games, there's of course in most games some type of meta game, right?
Do we want to get the items in the earth, or do we want to go get our new normal type friend, and then can level them up using the somewhat lower level trainers behind the cut tree?
That is very true. I think that's probably a good idea.
Why are we talking to these guys?
Someone has something. Could have sworn one of these guys had something, which is why you weren't allowed in before. Gosh darn it. I really thought that
Yeah.
one of the guys had something.
My favorite dark type, I actually have now thought of a story of. Because my favorite is Zoroark. However that's pronounced. Was supposedly going to be a counterpart to Lucario, but they never ended up going full hog on that. But if I remember correctly, which again, don't quote me on this, I could be wrong. In the event you needed to do to get Zoroark and Zorua, by extension, in Unova, there was an event to get them.
Right.
And I believe that event had you get also a shiny Suicune. I know there was an event for a shiny Suicune, and I have it, but I think it was also tied to the Zoroark event.
Okay.
And of the three, the roaming legendaries from Gen 2, Suicune was my favorite. And I wasn't even the one who played Crystal. I just liked the design and looked better. But then, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, did you get to play those, Will?
I did not.
At the area right by the, like, school you have to fight through, they added the fact that you can catch a Zorua there. Because they're in that patch of grass. And then getting to use one throughout the whole game was fun, very good. But then that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon also added in a lot of stuff that was difficult with Necrozma and Ultra Necrozma. And that was one of the best, Zoroark was one of the best ways to beat it. Because you could use its illusion ability to make it look like something that was weak to Psychic, and it would spam its Psychic moves, which Zoroark is immune to. But it would keep spamming the Psychic moves, thinking, like, this is going to be super effective. And then it wasn't. One of the best ways to get through what would otherwise be a very difficult fight. But little illusion fox guy, he's great. And then he evolves into something that I wasn't too thrilled with after how cute Zoruru was, but he's fine. Zoroark is still good. He's a good Pokemon.
That's how I actually feel for the Kalos starters. I actually prefer Fennekin more than its evolutions.
Oh yeah, its final evolution, I used to really like it. Because I liked that it wasn't another firefighting after how many gens of firefighting. It's just not the best. But finally, we get to the type that some of our friends hate. Fairy typing. It's switched up competitive immensely because of things that resist it and how popular it's been. Monotype Fairy is honestly one of the best types to be right now. Just because you only have 2 weaknesses that weren't as common, which means people have had to up their amount of them just because they're in the thing.
Which, if I remember correctly, those would be Steel and Poison, right?
Yes.
Fun little trivia. Do you know why they chose Steel?
Because the whole type of fairy is sort of in relation to, like, the old school tales. Do we want to leave Swift in there? We'll currently have 2 normal types heading towards a fighting gym.
Okay.
Yeah, we can temporarily bench Ziggy for now. We'll bring him back later.
Because that's the thing, you wanted to... Well, that was the thing. We were gonna go back and get those items and...
True, yeah.
I just figured we can spend the time letting Ziggy pick up a few more things.
Taylor levels up fairly quickly.
Oh yeah, super quickly.
But...
Requires less experience.
But for now... Yeah. Sorry, me continuing on. But the fairy typing. The whole things of traditional tales of old school fairies, one of their weaknesses is, in some things they specifically call it cold iron, in some it's just iron, in some it's steel. But they have this whole, like, traditional weakness to metal.
Yep.
And
it's kind of the same thing with Poison.
Well, it's a little bit of the same thing with Poison, but a lot of those are also, the old school tales of fairies are their nature spirits. Which means they are, more responsive to changes in the environment. And Poison has some of that, anti-environment type things. It's smog and poison gas and stuff like that.
I actually kind of think of the Peter Pan movie. The live-action one. When...
Oh, hey, look, it's that thing we're very glad we didn't find on this route.
Mm-hmm.
Emma's face looks so weird in that sprite. Ooh.
Darn you, Abra.
But yeah, so your favorite fairy type?
Just because I don't really have a favorite fairy, it's gonna be Gardevoir. Because I do enjoy using Gardevoir.
Oh yeah, we also need to teach cut to Ziggy, probably.
Yep. That was gonna be our choice, not to double.
It's double or Ziggy.
I think before when we did this, we did it to double.
Well, because, okay. So, if we do it to double, we're getting rid of Scratch. If we do it to Ziggy, we're getting rid of Tackle. Ziggy Cut is also a fairly decently powered stab move.
It's very true.
Whereas double, I believe we're also going to end up teaching double Flash.
Okay.
But yeah, my favorite fancy is, as I joked about using my one mythical.
Your favorite fancy?
Fairy.
You said fancy.
I might have. We have the audio proof.
Fairies are fancy.
I was kind of stretching. But my favorite fairy, as alluded to,
No, your favorite fancy.
We're leaving that at B. Or I will throw something at you. And it will pick up on the audio recording. And I won't care, because it's my job to monitor that. But my favorite is Diancie. Mostly just because I've used some of my other more favorite fairy types on other things. I haven't used many. And Diancie's one I haven't been able to use, because I never was able to get one. And my buddy who has one won't give me it. Even though he doesn't use it. Because he's just like, well, hey, you know, just because I don't use it doesn't mean I don't want to keep it. Which I understand, but... Yay, he's a perfected.
Oh, you focus on the wrong Pokemon. What are you doing?
Yeah, we talked about... In our hidden recording, we discussed... Go ahead and take out the low tab. Because they're going to full restore. Level 8 Lotad, full restore.
Leech life.
But yeah, in our hidden recording, you'll have to go find whatever Will uploads for that whenever he uploads it.
That will only be uploaded. People want it.
Well, let's just upload it anyway. An edited version of it. It's just audio. And we'll put up... I don't know, maybe we'll put that audio over your grinding. Or bits of it over the grinding.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so... We discussed, around the time we recorded that Pokemon of the Year, results had went up, and we discussed a bit of that. So if people want to hear that, let us know.
Did we already discuss all the...
All
Pokemon?
the types?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this time we were more just saying our favorite types rather than the stories behind.
Yeah, we had a lot more, but this is the second time we're telling some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we were a bit more speedy. But...
I would like to go back to Umbreon a moment.
Go ahead.
So of course you know how in games there are metas, right?
Yeah.
So I had never really understood metas or gotten into it. But
you know what meta... It stands for different things, but the most thing I've heard people say it is the most efficient tactics available.
Yeah.
Soundproof.
So, it always makes me feel good to actually figure out a meta on my own, rather than looking it up. And that's kind of what I did with Umbreon when I was playing XD Gale of Darkness. That's how I figured out it was so defensive, was because I was using it that way in XD Gale of Darkness. I called it my Shadow Catcher. Whenever I tried to
also
catch a
helps
Shadow
that a lot
Pokemon.
of, like... I always was just like... I thought it was supposed to be, like, an attacker. And then it was learning moves, and I'm like, why isn't it learning, like, attack moves? Oh, it must get them super high level. Yeah. We've discussed the fact that I'm not always wasn't always the brightest kid when it came to certain video game things. But for now, seems like a good place to call this episode, and we'll see you guys next time.
Till then.